Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Rap Shane.
Here we go, kid. Here we go, kid.
It would have been more impressive if you just committed to it.
Hey, turn me up in the headphones. Turn me up.
It's an Eminem song, but it's literally 5.5 minutes of the same beat and him going up, need more snare in my mix. Fuck you, Dad.
This is what happens when we actually know a release date is going to be close to a holiday, and we can execute it for once.
Yeah, because now we're down to the wire.
Yes.
This almost didn't happen.
Yeah.
The Wire. I loved the first season.
Never seen it.
Same.
Just to spite.
It's good.
It's good.
Omar coming.
Question.
How do... Welcome back, lovely listeners, to the Disinformed podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm John.
And I'm Michael.
We're so happy to have you here. John, question.
Oh, does this actually go on for 5 minutes?
It does.
Nice.
As I said, this is why I'm going to punish you for not wanting to fade out the music at some point, because you're just going to have these jingle balls just slapping you right in the ear, pussy, for 5 whole minutes.
It's fine. I'm looking at the wave and I don't see an end in sight, and we're just gonna fucking play it live.
This is just going to play it where it lays. Michael is going to offer his lip warm-ups.
I was gonna say, yeah, you mentioned that you didn't do your mouth warm-ups. What's your mouth warm-up?
It's literally just saying vowels over and over again.
Bowels?
Vowels.
Bowels?
So, if you didn't know, I don't pronounce words well.
No. You're kidding.
Exactly.
Bullshit.
Plot twist.
You're a cunning linguist.
Haha! No, I am not. Not by any stretch. So, I just say, like, syllables. I just try and say words over and over again. Warm-ups. Just like that. Just normal talking.
That isn't as erotic as I hoped your mouth warm-ups would be.
No, it's not like sucking noises or...
You actually have a pretty sick flow with how this is playing, you know?
I'm naturally, like,
In the
a
rhythm,
guy
yeah.
that does the singing.
I'm naturally a guy.
Uh-huh. Standing in front of a
Last
girl,
time I checked.
begging you.
Sounds like the brand of, like, soap that poor people use.
Naturally a guy.
Naturally a guy.
Naturally.
Sorry if you're a poor person, but if you are a poor person, you probably aren't listening. Because you don't have anything to listen to.
Using them purple essences.
I guess.
So yeah, we're almost there.
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
nearly to the tip
I
of
hope
the
you're
dick
ready.
here.
I see you open up tabs.
There's no tabs. I'm not gonna... we're not fading this out. We're doing this just out of spite.
Yeah.
Well, of
I
course,
just- this
because
is-
now that we're talking about it, if I were to fade it out earlier, then it would just be weird.
It would be weird.
I also kind of gave you a sieg into opening a certain tab.
Oh, yeah.
Mingling and jingling and jackally-boo.
That was the beer.
Welcome back.
I think that marks the most obnoxious intro that we've ever had.
Merry
That's-
Christmas, motherfuckers.
That's pretty
I hope you all
difficult.
enjoy.
That's straight up on, like, your mom's house podcast level of long intro.
It was brought to us by Uncle Touchy.
Oh, right.
And he is overlooking at...
Is that Stephen MacLeod?
Well, it's Kevin
Kevon.
MacLeod.
Kevin
Ugh.
MacLeod.
Welcome to
Kevin.
Michael Pronounces Things. Not.
It's the new corner of the podcast.
I think this really is going to need to be a recurring segment, though. Is we'll get Michael Pronounces Things for at least 5 minutes.
I wouldn't mind
Homeopathy?
Yes. It will be called the
Homeopathy.
Cunning Linguist section.
that. Ooh.
So I can't pronounce the YouTuber's name, but Michael, you'll know him. Was it Kurzgeskat?
Oh, Kurzgesagt.
Kurzgeskat.
Kyrgyzstan.
Kurzgeskat.
I was, that's
No, that's a
where,
country.
Yes.
Well, Becky has recently fallen in love with the channel. Could you give Shane a pitch on like what that YouTube channel's about? Like
So,
it's animated videos, right?
Yes, actually, you can see
The listeners
phone
can't. This is poor podcast
actually,
quality here.
because I support them on Patreon.
Oh, that's really cool. So
Yeah.
that's your bird?
No, that is their bird.
Michael literally just gave us the bird.
I don't have. I don't
It's not
pay
that
40.
tier?
I think it's 40 or something a month
Oh,
in order to get your
gotcha.
own bird that gets killed in an episode or something.
But anyway, because of this podcast, I accidentally appeared smart to my wife for the first time in our relationship. So that was really cool.
Well,
because
You weren't smart because you
dividends.
married her?
it just doesn't happen that way. I thought that I could collect the juices from her, and it would trickle and make me smarter.
I mean, you've been
Kind of like a
siphoning them.
fountain of youth kind of situation going on. Like I had a cup, I was collecting anything that came off of her body for about a year and drinking it, and
I just watched Gone Girl yesterday, so this image is
Doesn't
vivid for me right now. I'm just waiting for her to be riding on top of you covered in your blood.
I mean, I'm sure that's coming down at some point.
Hot.
But she was watching some episode, or there is an episode on homeopathy.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And in passing, as I'm walking, I was like, the water remembers. And she goes, it's funny that you say that because it does. And I was like, I know.
Yeah.
I know everything there is to know about homeopathy.
Yeah.
Now you get to start doing like The Simpsons did it to your wife.
Basically.
Oh, man.
Disinformed did it.
I was like, yeah, you know that podcast I do that you say that you're going to listen to, but you're never going to? It's on there.
See, the true love is my girlfriend has listened to every episode.
Twice.
Getting there.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Wow.
So we listen to them together at some points.
Ooh.
Yeah. We hold hands and marvel
That
in
just
my
feels
brilliance.
like past me cucking present me.
No, it's actually an orgy. That's the closest I'm going to get to having a menage a trois that does not intimidate me. It's like, oh, you like that guy? Yeah, he's funny, isn't
It's
he?
your kind of spit roast.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Like, I could look at me and be like, yeah, that's right.
Would I fuck me? I'd fuck me.
Yeah.
I fuck me hard.
Never understood jacking off in front of a mirror. That's a level of narcissism.
Yeah.
I can't get hard otherwise.
Yeah, I trailed off. So this is another loose form, loose fit.
Oh,
To steal from last pod's terminology. What would you call it, Shane? You said something interesting in the,
It's a melange.
or what was it, the pop culture
The
something?
pop culture paradise, yes.
Oh my goodness.
If we're talking about... Well, but that was literally something about, pop culture. So I think, the auditory melange will be what we'll throw in later on, just because I'm hoity-toity.
I had to do it.
Michael is going to actively kill you. So...
Okay. Well,
He
I'll
was
just
bragging
leave that
about how
in.
quickly he's been editing, so I just want to
yeah, just
help him with that.
throw a wrench in that process. Well
I
done.
wish it was Shane that said that, because then I could be like, all right, then you can edit this episode, but since
Right.
you don't have the technology to do
I
that...
am a poor person. So yeah, I mean, I have a couple things that are relevant, and since we're close to when these are going to publish, it's not going to be too far out.
True.
Yeah, we
so
have
do
like
we
a
wanna
week
say-
separation now.
Do we want to say the day that we're recording this?
I mean,
I
you
don't
can.
care.
Okay, well, it's the 19th. It's
Of?
December in the year of our Lord 2019.
Well done.
Okay.
So we screwed up already in the last podcast by thinking this was going to take us into the
Yep.
new year.
I laughed the whole time I
yeah, I'm
was
like,
editing
yeah, we're
that.
idiots. It's fine. I don't know
Can't
what a
count.
calendar is.
Yeah.
I was skeptical. I do remember me
You
being
were.
like,
Yeah.
but, you know,
Congratulations, you were right for once.
that's why I'm remembering it.
You
Because
drank
water
a lot of
does
water?
too, yeah.
I have to savor it.
Ah.
So I'm going to start by saying there's not going to be any lies, but
Bullshit.
there will be a twist at the end of the episode.
Ooh.
All right, M. Night suck along.
Exactly. And it being the day after something historical, we could do low-hanging fruit and talk about it, but we're not going to talk about Trump and that fucking dumpster fire. We're just going to move past that because there's nothing that we could possibly say.
It's like, there goes our
and I was
not
on-
being political on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. And I was on Twitter all day yesterday, and I'm just done looking at it. So instead...
You don't mean the
Let's jump
greatest
things
tribute
up.
to American intellect in the last 27 years?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But let's go something adjacent. Something interesting happened to me in the past week, and I told Shane about it already, but I figured I would share it with you, Michael. Something existed on Pornhub that I had no idea existed, and it ruined my entire life.
You can actually watch Donald Trump's daughter getting railed.
Probably.
Wait.
For free.
Oh, I was like, what?
Okay. So I don't remember what day it was, but I think it was within the past 7
Surprised
days.
you don't remember down to the moment.
Well, so as I'm sure you guys are aware, watching porn is about like 70% of finding the video and 30% trying to last just long enough to see your favorite scene. Like, I don't ever really watch.
Oh, man.
I would
Scrub.
say I'm more about 90% finding and then 5% skipping ahead.
Well,
Yeah.
you haven't even seen a Star Trek movie, so this doesn't surprise me that you
Yeah.
wouldn't.
I have. I saw the one with the whales, okay?
Listen, I'm not trying to go deep cuts on deep... It's okay.
Oh no!
I just want to hit the button. That's it.
Oh,
Cool. Like a monkey with a morphine drip. I want to hit the button.
That's fair. You get one.
So anyway, I was doing my dailies and finding the right video, and I finally found one that felt like the right fit from the thumbnail description. Also, Pornhub has really come along.
Pun intended.
No pun intended.
Okay.
Where now, like, if you hold the thumbnail of the video, it'll like kind of like shoot you through, because there's nothing worse than like looking at the thumbnail being like, this is gonna be fucking great, and then getting into it and it just being horrific.
87-year-old Florida woman going, yeah, fuck me, daddy.
Yeah, like. But somehow the thumbnails, like, they pulled her face back to like, pull all the wrinkles away.
They just pulled the screen cap off somebody else's good porn and then just hit it on there. Slow Cosby'd you with porn.
Basically. So I clicked into it. Everything's going great. And the volume on my phone was turned down, so I was turning it up. And I was expecting to hear moaning, and I was expecting to hear anything, maybe them talking. But descriptive audio was embedded onto the Pornhub video. So it was literally someone going, a pretty tall, blonde woman is approaching a door. She knocks. Someone opens the door. And I'm watching all of this happen. And I'm not going to get into like what it was like when they were fucking. But there's no way that I could come. It was just too funny to come.
A man aggressively gyrates his hips forward and backward.
So there's only
now forward.
There's only one other thing, I think, porn related, that's made me cry laugh that hard. So I'd say these probably my top two, and Shay knows this other one. And this one is just wholesome. You can watch this again, no pun. You can watch this whenever you want. If you're in a bad mood, it'll brighten you right up, and it's fast forwarded blowjobs with audio. It just sounds like chipmunks gagging. It's magnificent. To quote Tom Segura, you are the pig that your significant other allows you to be, and that's why I am the way I am.
What's funny is our drummer, who has no sexual proclivities at all, is the one who... Didn't he introduce that to the chat at one point? And yeah, he's like, you guys will like this. And just the sad fact, one, that he thinks so little of us, but two, that he was right.
Yeah.
Just deplorable.
But anyway, that felt like a nice little palate cleanser off getting
well, I have a little bit to derail us for 5 seconds, because
Sure.
I was thinking about this earlier on. And since this is a holiday episode, and we are celebrating, Festivus and the Krampus's reclamation of children.
Merry coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Merry Crampon. What are your favorite holiday films? Give me a top 5, and I will give you a moment to think, because this is,
I already got it.
Die
okay,
Hard.
all right, then
Because holiday
you can't
films
just
are...
spit it out like that, son. I mean, you gotta wait your turn.
This isn't porn. He can finish whenever he wants to finish.
Can
Sure he did.
Really?
So he said Die Hard.
Ah,
My argument is that holiday films are in the eye of the beholder.
agreed.
So you create your own traditions.
Mhm.
So I have 3.
Okay.
So we got the serious one, which is going to be Elf. I think Elf is like... I just have to have it.
Is that a misnomer? The word elf and serious was used in the same sentence?
No. Yes? Maybe? I don't know. The other one is Filth, starring James McAvoy,
Well
because
done.
that movie takes place around Christmas time. Other than that, it has nothing to do with Christmas. But it reminds me of Christmas, or like the holiday season, every time I watch it. And then another one, and it's another sick and depraved-ish. Well, it is. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo always reminds... Or the American version, the David Fincher, reminds me of Christmas because it came out in theaters around Christmas, and the ad campaign was, and I quote, the feel-bad movie of the holidays. So I watch that movie. I watch all 3 of those movies every single holiday season.
Okay. I thought it was going to be Solander clauses coming to town. No thanks.
That's amazing.
Do it, Michael.
So,
Die Hard.
since we said, you didn't say Christmas, you said holidays. So, Die Hard.
Yeah. Die Hard is
it-
a Christmas movie. I don't
yes,
care what
well,
anybody
no,
says.
it is. It is. It is literally like on Christmas Eve, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, duh. Yeah. There was some sort of tweet or something I saw that was reposted on Reddit, because that's where I get all my information from.
Yeah.
It was like there's like 3 different types of Christmas movies.
Yeah.
There's the action one, like Die Hard, and then you have the holiday, the actual feel good one. Then you have the feel bad or horror or something like that.
Like Black Christmas.
Yeah, and then someone was trying to justify that Home Alone fit into the action Christmas category.
I mean, there are stunts involved.
Yeah, and I agreed. I thought it was true.
Yeah.
I know my roommate's gonna hate me for this, for not remembering the
He's
title
just gonna
correctly.
hate you just to hate you, so don't worry about anything.
8 Crazy Nights with Adam Sandler.
Okay, well done.
I don't remember the last time I've seen that.
I
have
I've
not
watched
seen
it the
it,
last
so.
2 Decembers around Hanukkah.
Also
I
have-
find it's hilarious. I love it. What was the last one? Oh, and then Jingle All the Way, because just Schwarzenegger is just.
Yep.
I
It's a
love
good
it.
call.
I loved that movie.
Yeah.
Turbo Man.
If I'm throwing my hat in, Home Alone easily in the top 5, considering the money that's made. I also just watched it again. It holds up. I don't care. Scrooged.
Is that
Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Yes. It's brilliant. Now, here's where everybody laughs. Ernest Saves Christmas. Because,
I'm not going to laugh at you because I liked Ernest.
Yeah, I mean,
Nothing
all
wrong
the
with
Jim
that.
Varney films, I'm all in.
Right.
And then, of course, top 2, Die Hard, Lethal Weapon. Because everyone forgets, Lethal Weapon also takes place during Christmas. They actually have a fight in front of the Christmas tree when they're in the front yard. There's
What's
all the
the-
Christmas lights and everything around there. So
And Kiss Kiss Bang Bang should be in there too. Or any Sean Black movie then.
that would be Shane. But
Shane, whatever. This is the same name.
I've
Sean,
been suffering
thanks.
under this goddamn yoke for years, and you just did it to him. How
Yeah, I
dare
did.
you.
I mentioned this at work the other day because I had thrown on Iron Man 3.
Okay.
And that's Sean
You son
Sean
of a whore.
Black's.
Yes.
I said it. I'm doubling down.
You're fired.
To which people are like, why are you putting on Iron Man 3? I was like, because it's December. And they're like, and? I was like, it's a Christmas movie now because there's Christmas trees in it.
Every
So-
Shane Black movie is
Also,
a
you're
Christmas
drinking to excess at my bar at 11:30 a.m. You're going to do whatever the fuck I say you're going to do.
song. Yeah. So you can
That's
finish
the
that
rule.
out
If
with...
you come into my bar the first hour that I'm open, you're my property, legally.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it says that right behind the taps.
Yep.
Yeah.
It says that. The moment you take a sip, the moment it hits your lips.
Welcome to Tappers. So, thank you for letting me sort of digress for a
That's
moment. I just
great.
figured that would be fun, since we're actually in Christmas, and I just thought about it. So,
Now, I can read the article to you, or if if I think, Shane, you don't have any relativity to this from what I remember, Michael might.
Probably
So I can
not.
read this article, or we can just kind of talk about it because I saw it and it made me laugh. And then, yeah, but there's a Vice article written by Justin Caff here.
I was going
and
to
it's-
say Timberlake.
Visiting the vegan restaurant chain owned by a cult.
I'm in.
The Loving Hut. So there's a location in Central.
It's
or
something
it's
I
near
actually just watched on Pornhub last week. So.
what, the Loving Hut?
The Loving Hut. Yes, it's Jabba
Lovey the Hut.
tit fucking somebody. Eat you die.
Well, so we'll just paraphrase a little bit here, but so they have 140 restaurants, Loving Hut. People seem to love their food, yada yada. Not researching. Fastest growing vegan franchise in the world.
Wow.
Are there any other vegan
what?
franchises?
I believe so.
Oh.
It's, when you're not too busy garbling cow cock.
Wow.
Too bad I am.
That's Michael's high school
Prove
nickname,
it.
actually.
That was charged. I'm sorry, you deserve better than that.
Yeah, thank you. I accept your apology.
Horsecock.
I partake in the horse flesh.
Horse flesh? What are you,
So
in
he
Middle
eats
Earth?
glue. He-
No,
he
I'm
had
in
a lot of
Dark
paste
Tower.
back
They
in
say
the day.
horse flesh all the time.
They tend to. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to butcher pronunciation on these names, so I'll say it and then I'll spell it, and Michael, you can tell me if I got it right.
Got it.
So Loving Hut was created by Supreme Master Xing Hai. Spelling on that is Ching, and then Hai. Xing Hai?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Sounds legit.
She's a 66-year-old Vietnamese businesswoman. Besides her restaurant empire, Xing Hai, who was once called the Buddhist Martha by Time, is the creator of a jewelry line, a clothing line, and the Kuan Yin method, a pseudo-religious philosophy with as many as 500,000 followers.
And they wonder why the vegan restaurant is so popular.
You probably haven't heard of Shanghai because she's pretty toothless as far as cults of personalities go. There's been no mass suicides under her name, and she's not squeezing her followers for every red cent. Instead, the Kuan Yin method preaches preservation of life above all else. Other pillars include not telling lies, not taking that which is not offered, not drinking alcohol or doing drugs, and avoiding sexual misconduct, whatever that means.
So she has some stakeholding in Goop.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a Gwyneth Paltrow vehicle, if you
I mean,
will.
it sounds like the two of them go hand in hand, or Jade Egg in Jade Egg.
As long as there's no misconduct, then yes.
Right,
Yeah.
so essentially, if the Satanic Temple is just punk rock atheism, this is like the polar opposite of that. Like, they're still basically atheists, is what it sounds like to me. But they just can't. It's like Mormonism without the fun sci-fi story.
I mean, the fun sci-fi story doesn't really sell much of anything in their religion, I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
For the stuff
want
you gotta
my own
sacrifice, yeah, no, I don't care. It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
I guess
Yeah.
they don't specify the kind of planet. You could get a planet like Hoth or something like that.
Yeah.
That wouldn't really be a little barren, cold.
Speaking about
Barren cold?
Yeah.
Or something with sand.
This is one of the new Flash villains
I
coming
don't
out
like
next
sand.
year.
But anyway, if you want to know more about that, just go look it up. It's.
I mean, listen,
It's
you can't
not-
taste racism.
Jesus Christ.
And that...
Clerks 2 reference, everybody. That's
There you
not
are.
Shane in his
No,
holiday
it's not.
lane.
Here's the thing. I am a fiend for pull quotes. So if you're not catching what I'm getting, throw it into your Google machine.
It'll
exists
pull up. It
elsewhere.
does pull up.
I promise. This is not just me being a hate tank. That comes later.
I was too excited to get to the Loving Hunt cult that I didn't piggyback off of your holiday thing. Holiday books are a thing as well. Again, holiday being what you define it as. Shane last year, for Christmas, gifted me Nosferatu by Joe Hill.
Which is very much a holiday book.
Stephen King's son.
Yeah, I know that much. I do know that. Yes.
And when I read it, I think in January, like January to February, you take your time with it. Loved it, so good. And Shane's right, like the whole thing there's a lot of, it's Christmas land is where this guy is taking children essentially to feed off their innocence to live forever. That
old trope.
Chestnut.
Sorry to all of you watching this show right now.
But I decided to reread it for the holiday, and it is definitely, like, I think every single December going forward, I'm just going to have to read it or listen to it. The narrator, Shane, for the audiobook makes it even more fun.
Ooh.
So I'd highly recommend doing
All right,
that.
I'm going to have to dive in.
Well.
We're just chugging right along, but that's fine because they're loose fit and we have serious things to get to as well. So why don't we do your sponsor
Let's do it.
That, and then I think I only got like a couple more topics.
A couple
Cool.
more?
Literally two topics, but they're connected, so you don't know. Could be
I
5
see.
minutes, could be 10 minutes. You could be listening to this for the rest of your life. You don't know.
I mean, we can certainly hope so.
I would probably... Yeah, no, I would die before we finish
All right,
editing.
William Wallace.
Yeah.
So, I gotta tell you, folks, I'm exceedingly excited because as of right now, we are officially bringing you our first legitimate product endorsement. So, brace for impact. This is gonna get fun. Considering that all three horses... Take 7. Considering all three whores, yes, yeah, all three of us. Considering all three hosts of the Disinformed podcasts are bearded brethren, we are elated to bring you our first legitimate product endorsement, badassbeardcare.com. I know it sounds like a plant. This thing actually exists, so get ready. Okay. If you are sick of having a scraggly thicket of misplaced pubic hair on your moneymaker, you need to give the bounty of beard care products at Badass Beards a try. Their bevy of beard boosters help reduce itch and dandruff and allow you to soften and style your beard to tame your man mane. Featuring an array of scrumptious scents, their oils and balms will have even your closest confidants casually sniffing your face as you embrace. Badass Beards has over 30,000 5-star reviews, so you can rest assured that your beard is in the best of hands. And so to reward you marvelous beardy disinformed listeners, you can receive a free trial pack containing a sample-sized beard oil, balm, and wash, or get 50% off any regularly priced products by using our referral code. This is long, so get ready. Get a pen handy. It is acoustic_rock reject 570 at checkout. So, badassbeardcare.com and use the code acoustic_rock reject 570 at checkout to get yourself a free trial pack or 50% off any regularly priced products. And let us know what you think, because I use these things on the daily. I love it to death. I will particularly endorse the Ladies' Man scent. The Pirate is fantastic because it's basically rum and like bay leaves, and it's just fantastic. So if you want to smell good, get a softer beard, I can make no higher recommendation than badassbeardcare.com.
That's all well and fine, but that wasn't funny.
You're not funny. I don't complain. I'm still here every couple
weeks. Did you mean autistic?
Autistic?
Or acoustic?
Acoustic. Are we playing acoustic, John?
Okay.
Are we playing acoustic?
Sorry that we are. I've been spending a lot more time on Twitter since the last time we recorded, and it's had both, the positive and negative effects on my life. Yeah. And one of them, there's Shane Smith retweets or likes enough fight
Sean
videos.
Smith?
Oh yeah, Sean Smith.
Yeah.
He retweets a lot of like real fight videos.
Okay.
Or just like awkward exchanges. And there's one, and it literally, because of a comment, made me cry. It just took me just completely off, caught me off guard. So the video, it's high schoolers in the computer lab. And you see from the back, this guy's playing what looks like Minecraft. And as the video starts, he suddenly pauses the game. He stands up and he looks stereotypically nerdy. Like, just a
pocket protector.
Exactly what you would think. And he walks around to the other aisle and he's staring down at this other kid. And you can't see this kid's face because the computer's in the way. So all you see is this guy pointing his finger down, saying, "Do that shit again. Do that shit again." And everybody in the background's like, "Man, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's just a game." And he turns to the camera and he's like, "No, fuck you. That's not the point." And then he goes back to and goes, "You're a son of a bitch. You're a son of a bitch." And he just screams that for like 30 seconds. Underneath, the comment that got me was, "Bro, I'm pretty sure he's acoustic."
So that story is apropos. I sound like I've been smoking like a half a pack a day right now, so bear with me. But the joys of being in the holiday season when all the germs are catching. So the only time, now I've never been in a fight in my life. Like, I have never had a fist fight with anybody. I've had some like semi-altercations where I've had to like wrestle people. Work in security, you just have to do random shit. But the only time I've ever struck another human being in rage was in a computer lab.
Oh my god.
My senior year. I was trying to get a report done before we went to Washington, D.C. for a choir concert, so this is how metal I was.
Yeah.
And I was really stressed, so I was trying to get this paper done, and I had like maybe 15 minutes before I needed to go. And there was a gentleman whose name was Jeff, but it was spelled G-off, so everyone called him G-off.
Thank God.
And he kind of was antagonizing me through the course of this whole thing, and I don't know what it was that, spurred him kind of getting started. But I'm trying to type, I'm trying to keep my concentration, and this bastard keeps walking over, and he's like, "Hey, hey, hey." And finally I got up, and I'm just like, "Please, leave me alone. I need to get this done, and I'm gonna finish, whether you want me to or not."
That would be a chorus through your whole life.
Exactly. So as I sat down, apparently my shirt rode up a little bit. And he said the words, that will live in infamy. I can see Shane's Haynes. I was out of the chair and I slapped him dead in the face. Like, open palm, just completely planted him. He was on the floor crying and going, I'm gonna sue you, man! And got up and stumbled his chubby ass out of the room.
Do you think he kept that receipt?
I hope so.
So
yeah,
essentially
that's
you
the
slapped the
only single
soul
time.
out of this poor boy.
Basically, yes. And I have apologized subsequently, but yeah, that I have only ever lost my composure once, and that was the time. So, computer lab rage is a real thing, kids.
Yeah.
It happens. I've seen it.
Seen it.
Seen it.
I lived it.
Well, we've all been acoustic at some point.
Yeah, it's not the point, John. You're a son of a bitch.
So I think where we'll see it out, and meaning just that was too perfect to ignore.
Yes.
Um,
Gonna have a couple audio stabs in here because apparently there's an orgy happening in the next room.
It sounds
set
hot.
to holiday themes.
Sounds hot.
So.
Star Wars comes out tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Well, technically, it's probably the first airing is probably happening right now. And I've been seeing pre-reviews coming in, not reading the full things. There's a lot of it's all spoiler free right now, but the review embargo is officially lifted. And it's hilarious to me, and I can't wait. Shane, in particular, I don't know. Michael, are you a Star Wars fan? Have you seen a Star Wars?
I mean, I think I like Kirk more than Picard.
Son of a bitch.
He's more seen like a Star Skirmish.
I follow prequel memes on Reddit because
Okay.
I think that shit's hilarious.
Well, if you could just throw in a couple, oh, dams, when Shane's giving his hot takes.
So at one point he saw Darth Vader bitch slap someone in a computer lab. That was basically what Michael's seen.
Shit!
So essentially, right now, I think, one, I'll preface this by saying I think Rotten Tomatoes is a crock of shit.
Okay.
I feel like it had the best of intentions when it was first a thing.
Okay.
And the longer that the more that people backed it, like actual audience, in my opinion, the more that people went to Rotten Tomatoes, the more and more corrupt I think Rotten Tomatoes has become. Because now you have studios that are buying out reviews. Guaranteed. It's not even...
I believe it.
That's why review bombing happens on like the other Star Wars movies, some Marvel movies, and what have you. If there's a political charge or political motivation that they don't want this movie to succeed well in box office, they pay for negative reviews. So if you can do that, then you can pay for positive ones too.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So I think that, with that being said, currently Rotten Tomatoes has a critic score of 56% for... what is it? Rise of Skywalker? Is that the sub?
The Rise of Sky. Yeah. Episode 9, whatever.
However, when you're looking at like real, like Twitter reactions to the movie, it's also kind of down the middle, but it's not so aggressive. Like fuck that movie. It's like, oh well, that was forgettable, but not offensive. Or you have people being like, yes, J.J. Abrams, this is a return to code to see this out. And I just think it's hilarious that Star Wars fans just don't want to be fucking happy. Because so the main complaint that I'm seeing about this conclusion is that they're saying that you could almost copy paste it from Return of the Jedi.
Which is
what J.J. Abrams did with The Force Awakens.
Yeah, exactly.
But with The Force Awakens, the reviews were generally more than positive, saying that it was a breath of fresh air with a nod to nostalgia, whereas now people are saying with Rise of Skywalker that he's hiding behind the concept. So what that tells me is that you have this fan base that gets really, really upset if you change the status quo and you have a mid-movie like Last Jedi where it's like, no, we're not doing that trope. We're going to go away from that. It's still going to be your franchise. It's still going to be Star Wars. But we're going to do things we're going to make a chase movie. We're going to make a heist movie in space, and that's what it's going to be. And you have people boycott to the fact where they then review bomb Solo, which, if you've seen Solo, it's not worth the fucking hatred. That movie is so much fun. And that's what the point of those movies are. Like, do you really think they're going to be nominated movies? No.
No, they're supposed to make money. Like, it's the same reason for Transformers. Transformers isn't going to win any awards, but it's going to make a lot of money because it appeals to a larger audience. And if that's what they're doing with Star Wars, it makes sense. But, like, I definitely agree what you're saying. Like, you see that with nostalgia. Whenever you have an IP that's been going for a long time, there's a YouTube channel that's been covering a lot of nostalgia. I think he's it's not Real Life Lore. I can't remember. I'll put it in the show notes. But he talks a lot. He actually did a more recent episode on Pokemon and why it's gotten very bloated and why not a lot of people really liked Sword and Shield and why there was a controversy over having only half the total Pokedex, yada yada yada. But there's a whole thing on nostalgia, and people always think, like, they always look at older movies, the stuff they like with rose-tinted glasses.
Yeah.
Like, I liked the original trilogy. It was good, but it's not something I would say is, like, the all-time best movie of all. Like, nothing will compare to it. It was good. It was entertaining. But it's not something I would say, like, this should be the standard for everything. Like,
right.
I thought Last Jedi was okay.
I loved it.
I mean, like...
Shane, you're behind on this, aren't you? You have this weird look in your face.
Yeah, you would probably have a more...
I wasn't trying to cut you off, but I see...
No, you're fine.
So
I was going to start rambling, so you
Shane
caught me
is
good.
essentially right now just... And maybe I'll take a picture of it for the Instagram, but Shane is essentially Mr. Wilson right now. And all I see are Shane's eyes over his pop filter. So I'm not seeing his mouth or his nose or any... I'm not seeing anything. I'm just seeing his eyes like a shark. Like, when he's ready to talk.
It's... the thing about... One... The J.J. Abrams being sort of heralded as being this brilliant filmmaker and auteur when he started is one. He'd already done the Star Trek films,
right,
and he had endured all that vitriol. So going a little more closer to the source material for Star Wars, you're going, yeah, naturally, he's going to play a little bit closer to the vest there, because I don't think he wants to endure another, you ruined my childhood.
Right.
But then I tend to... I have a difficulty with The Last Jedi. We talked about this previously on one of the podcasts. It's just there are moments in it where it feels such a stark contrast to the way the characters are depicted previously. And we've already killed Han Solo in the first one. Spoilers for those of you who have not seen Force Awakens. But, I mean, so if you want to basically just kind of take and let's cast off all of the trappings of the old system and move forward, then they definitely did it with great aplomb. It's just some of the things I have difficulties with. Doesn't mean it's a bad film. I enjoyed it when I saw it. I feel like they pulled the taffy a little too much, and some of the secondary plot lines were a little much. But long story short, too bloody late. The other thing we're not taking into account here is that J.J. Abrams was really kind of, other than Rogue One, the first Star Wars films that we got since the prequels.
Yeah.
Right.
And if anyone wants to harken back to those beautiful days...
Actually, I was going to say that as well.
That's
because
a brilliant point.
Breath of fresh air, when you look at Episode 7 compared to the
Episode
most
3
recent... Then when you look at Episode 9 compared to the decent Episode 7 and the okay Episode 8, then it's the relative perspective.
I would still rank Last Jedi over... I think I would... It basically kills the prequels for me. I don't have a need to watch the prequels now that I have the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, the point I was attempting to make is I went back and attempted to watch Revenge of the Sith the other night. I got 20 minutes into that film and stopped it.
It's fucking terrible.
I couldn't get through
Last Jedi I can get through, though. But again, I come from... Can you get through Last Jedi?
I skip scenes in Last Jedi. There are things I really like to see, particularly the fight in the throne room is fantastic.
My fuck. That's probably the best fight sequences in that franchise.
And it's the same thing I would say about, like, I really love moments in Phantom Menace. Same deal. Like, lightsaber duel, when you get Darth Maul in there, I'm like, oh my god, this is fantastic. So you can sort of cherry pick your favorite moments, and I think ultimately that's what we need to get back to, is, again, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. If you like parts of the story, just watch it. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. Pay with your wallet. And the same thing stands for the Rotten Tomatoes things. Like, I have never looked at anybody's metric to determine what I'm going to go watch. It's mostly like, that concept intrigues me, I'll go watch it. Joker, oh, there's controversy surrounding it? Well, naturally, I'm going to go watch the film. I want to make my own opinion.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I think where it becomes problematic or where it becomes frustrating for me, and again, I had someone earlier today be like, hey, well, why don't you just, like, not let that affect you then? Like, why don't you just not let... It was over a customer, and I was like, this customer annoys the fuck out of me every single time. They don't do anything wrong, but they did something in the past couple weeks where I got to kind of scold them and be like, hey, if you want to act like a child, we'll treat you like a child.
Right.
And I was telling this to a random passerby, and they're like, well, why do you let him affect you? He doesn't affect me, you know? But tie this in. Rotten Tomatoes, you have the people that just want to consume that metric or the analytics and then spout that off without seeing the movie or letting that impact whether or not they want to go appreciate it or give it a shot.
Right.
Because I guarantee you could probably plug in like your top 3 favorite movies and they're not all going to be certified fresh on there at all. Like it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But let's keep this on Star Wars for a second because this is the last thing that I have, and then I have that twist.
Taste is subjective before you really go any further afield with that. Is like the same thing stands in music. The things that they tell you are listenable and marketable singles are, by and large, most of the time, not the sort of thing I want to listen to. I want to listen to an album. I want deep cuts. I want the stuff that actually touches and resonates with me.
Absolutely.
So, to hell with whatever the corporate entity tells us is good and should be consumed.
Down with the machine.
Fight, man.
Fuck the man.
I was totally gonna
Excuse me, that was a lot of
boycott those Star Wars films because George Lucas is a mastermind and you've ruined his lasting legacy.
I said figure it out. That's what I said. I said figure it out.
Indeed. So, go.
I did see... I don't know if it was a tweet, a Facebook post or whatever, so if this is from anybody that listens, one of you 7,000 people that listen to the show.
A day.
Someone asked a question, and it kind of just... about the sequel trilogy. So you had J.J. Abrams on the first one, you have J.J. Abrams now closing it out, and he's saying that he's having to essentially, like, he's not retconning, but he's kind of rectifying what's happened in The Last Jedi that he didn't have control over. So are you telling me, and this is the question, that they didn't have an outline for how they wanted their sequels to go? Because they have like George Lucas has an outline for how he would have done the sequels. So you're telling me that this just mammoth of a corporation that they are just churning, just nothing but profit, and just they didn't write they didn't have just one core writer going, hey, so the first movie, this needs to happen. Second, this one thing needs to happen so that the third thing can happen in the final movie. Because that's usually what happens.
I mean, it depends on what he wants to retcon. If it's little nitpicks here and there, then I can imagine, like, there's a general outline, like, characters will want to get from A to B. In general. No? You're shaking your head?
Well, I'm shaking my head because that did not exist here.
Oh,
they
it
totally
actually...
told Rian Johnson, do whatever you want with it. And the reason being, if we want to get granular, Disney was taking a lot of hits at this point because Marvel was being micromanaged. And they were being handed their keister because they had just released individuals from Ant-Man. Guardians was getting a lot of, static. And they're saying, these auteur filmmakers aren't allowed to do what they want to do because the big corporate entity Disney is controlling their property. So, subsequently, again, trying to make money and do the best they can, they go to Rian Johnson, who's been heralded as a brilliant filmmaker. And for those looking to see Knives Out, I've heard nothing but marvelous things. And it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And I love Looper. Like, I'm a big fan of Rian Johnson's stuff. Yeah, it's his.
I know he's done an episode of Breaking Bad or two.
So he is really excellent. So to their credit, they said, do what you want with it. And JJ, also trying not to micromanage, saying, hey, I understand we want to make a good movie here. Do what you want to. So no, they didn't put handcuffs on him at all. They said, tell the story you want to tell. So now what has happened is the reason they brought JJ back in is that they saw the backlash, saw this other stuff going. So basically it's like, consider that you're serving a meal. And you're making a sandwich, and you put down turkey, and mayonnaise, and cheese, and bacon, and you've got the sandwich started, and you're like, here, could you garnish this for me? And you ship it down to somebody, say, but do whatever you want. Make it your own sandwich. And they put peanut butter on it, and slap that onto your turkey sandwich, and then serve it. you're probably going to go and grab that piece of bread and say, can I get that peanut butter off there before you serve that to somebody, please? Can you not make this shit? So that's kind of what the impression I get is that JJ's at least going, can you ruined some of my characters? Can I at least take this back a little bit?
I just thought it was really funny. Because I took the night off tomorrow so that I could go see it on opening day. It was really... I've seen every single one of them on opening night.
Wow.
Since the new one. So I'm really sentimental about it. I'm really excited for it, too. Let's get to the twist. You saw me grinning like a fucking idiot while you're making your sandwich.
Come on, man.
I sent a screenshot to
the chat, because I
saw
our
it chat.
Pop up. Yeah.
Shane, do you want to describe, or Michael, you can describe it, whichever ones you guys want to do.
Whoever gets there faster.
Yeah.
So, for those listeners who don't understand why we are crackling here, we lost Michael. So he just did Jack Nicholson 1989 Batman here. He actually did smash a mirror as he was supposed to be looking at it. John sent us a screen cap of a list. The last bit being, the special twist is he wrote a fucking outline. So there's a first time for everything. John was actually organized with officially porn descriptive audio, which I like.
I want to read through them. So we have special twist at end of show, Trump, Loving Hut cult article, porn descriptive audio. Nos 482 Holiday Bouquet, Star Wars Reviewed. Why didn't they write an outline? And then special twist is I wrote a fucking outline.
So he is better organized than Disney and J.J. Abrams.
I could have made the final movie.
Hiring you for episode 10.
Bow down to the king.
Yeah. So that's all I got on this one.
What the hell noise was that?
Mickey.
If that was Mickey Mouse, sir, I am Indiana fucking Jones.
I was trying to do the South Park where he's like slapping the
South Park.
Ignorant. You better go back out there and make me some money, huh? I don't know. I don't fucking know. Leave me alone.
Penis. So I'm gonna go kill myself if anybody wants to join me in the bathroom to sniff the rest of these Percocets.
Asher will be over in 5 minutes.
He's already here.
Well, I think that's gonna be it for all of us here. We're only 2 hours into the recording session, so it's been a lot of fun. And we hope you've enjoyed listening, because it's been a lot of fun for us to record this motherfucker. So, everybody...
Thank you, Sean.
Enjoy the remainder of the podcast here. For the Disinformed fucking podcast, I'm Sean.
I'm John.
And I'm... Michael, I guess.
Now you're old Michael, you fucking asshole.
Oh, Michael.
Thank you for coming. Don't worry, we'll clean it up.
Happy Patty's Day, everybody.
Pat my dick.
Ooh.